Hello and welcome to Security Scan. I am Vishal Dahiya, and this week we will talk about the fighter aircraft MiG-29. Introduced in 1970s to counter American-made F-series planes like F-15 and F-16, the Russian MiG-29 is considered as one of the most prolific fighter jets in the world. It forms the second line of defense in the Indian Air Force after the Sukhoi 30 MKI. Indian Air Force currently operates 3 squadrons of MiG-29. Since its induction in 1980s, the MiG-29 fleet has been extensively modernized with the latest deal for their upgradation signed in 2008 for the state-of-art avionics, smart weapons and in-flight refueling. The Indian Navy too operates the naval version of MiG-29, with the jets being the primary weapon of the INS Vikramaditya aircraft carrier. According to latest reports, the Indian Air Force is in advanced talks with Russia for an urgent procurement of 21 MiG-29 fighters to meet the shortage of combat aircrafts. For more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of guests today in the studio. Let me start by introducing them to you, beginning with retired Air Vice Marshal P.K. Srivastava, a defense expert in the studio here. And we also have with us retired Lieutenant General V.K. Saxena, the distinguished fellow from VIF. We're also joined by another gentleman from the Indian Air Force, retired AVM Sunil Nanodkar. Welcome, all of you gentlemen, to Rajya Sabha TV studios. And let me begin with you, AVM Srivastava, to try and put in perspective as far as MiG-29s are concerned with respect to the Indian Air Force.
See, if we take a fighter aircraft, which you already brought out, that is next to the Su-30. But when we take a fighter aircraft, we want to see 3 parts of it. One is, first is the aircraft design, and second is the armament which you can carry, and third is avionics, which will help in managing the armament and the aircraft. So if you see, go by all 3, the upgraded version, which we are now talking about, is got an engine which is RD-33 Series 3. This engine has got the enhanced life. It can do air-to-air refueling, and it is one of the most agile aircraft in its class. And when we say most agile, you also keep in mind that thrust-to-weight ratio is positive. Okay. And if it is positive, we take it for granted from aircraft configuration-wise, the aircraft is not going to stall. And its afterburner capability is very high. So if you put all this together in the aircraft design, and with now is having 40 years of life, airframe life, the aircraft is going to do, is doing very well. And it is one of the aircraft which actually helped us in Kargil. It was the escort aircraft. Its main role was air superiority role for Mirage 2000. So it's the one which kept the Pakistani air effort off the line, and we were able to go through the Kargil operations through Mirages very well. So in that class, now after the conversion, it has become multi-role. In the sense, it can do anti-shipping, it can also do air-to-surface, and it is of course air-to-air, which was the primary role for it when it was inducted in the Indian Air Force. Okay. And let's go into the now avionics part of it. Now it's got HOTAS with it, it's got head-up display, it's got multifunction display available, it's got all kinds of avionics incorporated, a new weapon control system. And third, the armament, now it can have VVRs, that is beyond visual range missiles within it, that is R-77, R-27, it can carry that also. So from that perspective, if we take these features, this aircraft is, of course, we call it 4th generation fighter aircraft, but somewhere I would call it 4th generation plus aircraft because of its agility, because of its short runway takeoff and short runway landing, which can be about 200 meters around that. It can take off and land, which is a very major, I would say, feature. And also it can do, unpaved kind of runway, it can take off and land. So with all those features, it becomes a very potent weapon in the inventory of the Indian Air Force. Okay, let me bring in
AVM Nanodkar here on this aspect only. AVM Nanodkar, from Indian Air Force's point of view, the way AVM Srivastava has explained as far as MiG-29 is concerned, and it is said that it is the second line of defense for the Indian Air Force after the Su-30. Where do you see MiG-29 placed as far as Indian Air Force's scheme of things is concerned?
Yeah, see, I'll put this in a little different perspective from what my colleague has just explained. We are down to 31. We are going to further get down to maybe somewhere around 27 in a short period of time. when your MiG-21 Bison squadrons are number plated and your MiG-27s go out. So there is going to be a big void. In this void, we don't foresee suddenly the numbers filling up just because 2 squadrons of Rafale are getting in. Starting from September, that is the production starting in France. And by the time they come here and get operationalized, it will be anywhere between a year to 2 from then.
And that's a crucial period.
Of course. I mean, every day is a crucial day for us, looking at the scenario. So if you look at it in that perspective, why is Indian Air Force going in for MiG-29s in this kind of scenario? It is because it is forced to go in for this. And that is where the entire narrative that AVM Srivastava has put in perspective comes into play, that in the scenario like this, the best possible platform that is available to guard your skies with a multi-role capability. That means today it fills in the void of MiG-27s as well as MiG-21s that are being phased out to fill up this quickly. And what? We are going in for just one squadron number. Okay. That is 21 aircraft. If you see in totality, it is 69 plus 21 and plus naval 45. That makes 135. So that is the bare minimum number that you will look at in the present scenario to guard your certain part of your skies in a emergent kind of a situation. So this procurement, to my mind, is forced onto the Air Force to take some steps to look at guarding the nation's border in totality if you want to. And remember, every time that chief looks at what is his capability, he looks at the RM's directive of 2009 that be ready for guarding both sides that you face your enemy. So that is where
the 2 front for which we
absolutely. So that is where this procurement I think comes into play.
Okay, let me bring in General Saxena here. General Saxena, going by what both the gentlemen here pointed out, and we have read it elsewhere as well, MiG-29 seems to have a lot of trust factor involved as well, and that is why we have the naval version as well on INS Vikramaditya. If you look at a fighter aircraft like MiG-29 in terms of its capabilities, in terms of how it can further be modernized, and the cost factor as well, obviously, because that's one very crucial factor involved here. How do you look at this entire, situation with MiG-29 at the centerpiece?
Sir, I will start to look at this from 2 perspectives. One is the deal itself. Now, you talk about this MiG-29. We all know that these aircrafts are actually built in 1980. And they were mothballed. They were built but not assembled and flown. And therefore, they are about 4 decades old. At the same time, this deal has got many special features. The deal today, the open sources tell us that the cost of this deal per aircraft is 175 crores or 285 crores, and there are 2 different versions of it. Compare this to the Rafale, one aircraft is 1611 crore. That is only one part, that is the cost part. Now talk of, as AVM brought out, MiG-29 is one of our mainstay aircraft. We have 69 of them. At the same time, this aircraft has got a lot of intrinsic strength in carrying out its role properly. Earlier, only air superiority, now multi-role. What is the capability of this now? Russia has also told that these aircrafts will not only be given to us in the unused, they're unused, as the report from the Air Force Air Marshal has stated, they're in excellent condition. They'll also be upgraded to UPG standard. What does it mean? It means that the old radar of this aircraft, which was N109, is going to be changed to Zuk M radar, which is a very good state-of-the-art electronic scanned slotted plane array radar. Also, it has got its capability of carrying both missiles for short combat, that is air-to-air dogfight, as also BVR missile, as the IBM brought out of R-60, 27, 60 and 73. Okay. It has got 3 types of rockets, S8, 5, S8 and S24, ranging from 3 to 4 kilometers for ground attack. Now, IBM mentioned a point which needs to be highlighted here is his alpha capability. Okay. What is alpha capability? Alpha capability is the capability, it is angle of attack. Angle of attack is the angle between the aircraft reference body, where the body is looking, and the relative wind. If this aircraft can sustain a large angle, its alpha capability is large. What does it mean? The aircraft will be more agile, more maneuverable. It can sustain a turn at a very high speed. That's why it's one of the very, very good capability of this aircraft. Plus, imagine the range of 15-30 kilometers. Imagine its speed of 2.25 Mach, which is a good speed. Now talking of the second perspective, this is one perspective.
Okay.
Second perspective is Air Force compulsion. As the AVM brought out, sir, we have got, everybody talks about 31 strength, 31 squadron strength. If you look at this 31 squadron, it is divided into some potent and some less potent. Now we have in this 31 squadron on the main stage 11 squadron of Su-30 Mk1. This is a top of the line air superiority fighter, no doubt, no nothing.
Okay.
Second, of course, is the second hand which we are already talking about, MiG-29. MiG-29 also talked about 69 aircraft, 3 squadrons. Then we have 3 squadrons of Mirage 2000. Now I'll stop at 1133 because the balance which I am going to talk about, 6 squadrons of Bison, 6 squadrons of Jaguar and 2 squadrons of MiG-27 are not as potent as they are going to be.
Okay.
As the AVM was bringing out that MiG-21, the date of its retirement was earlier 2014 to 17, got changed 2019, got changed 2022. Whether we call them flying coffins, whether we call them anything, but the aircraft has got certain lifespan of its airworthiness, of its machine itself. 3 times it has been. MiG-27 is slated for retirement in 2024 and Jaguar is slated for retirement in 2028. Now these, sir, includes 14 squadrons, 662. Even if you take half the squadron, phasing out in 1/3 of the time, we are going to be coming to 26 squadrons.
Okay.
We are going to have a strength, sanctioned strength of 39.5 squadron. We're going to take it to 42, going to be sought to 42.
Okay.
Now, what is the Air Force compulsion? Their hands are actually tied. Therefore, what Air Force has done, they're following a twin track approach. What is twin track? One side, upgrade what is possible to be upgraded by the new ones. What is possible to be upgraded? Su-30 Mk1, 40 of these aircrafts are going through upgrade. Mirage 2000 are going to be upgraded to Mirage 5 Mark II standard.
Okay.
MiG-29, the upgrade is going on for 865 million. Now that is one channel. But there are problems. Problems of Jaguar upgrade is running into problem of Daring. This type of upgrade, which is called the display attack range inertial navigation, Daring 3, is not coming.
So basically, this is a very peculiar situation as far as Indian Air Force is concerned. And the second one is also more important. AVM Nanodkar also pointed out. Let me bring you AVM Srivastava. So on the second aspect, which General Saxena is also saying, in terms of how important it is for the Indian force right now to shore up its numbers in terms of its combat capability, and therein comes the trusted, much used MiG-29.
See, I think it's absolutely critical from the ops perspective, absolutely critical. And these 21 aircraft which the Air Force team has gone, and the Air Marshal is on record to say that they are in good condition and they will be available to us in UPG version, which is the upgraded version. And which I just mentioned, the upgraded version is really very potent, apart from the design agility which was there with the aircraft earlier. What we can't change when we talk about the generations, in generations, the basic factor is that unless there is a quantum jump, not the avionics, not other things, unless there is a quantum jump in terms of the armament changes, which has happened in this aircraft, like now it can fire not only the close combat missions, the CAP missions which is to launch, it can also get into the BVR kind of missions.
Okay.
So it can be a threat to the people, even for the Pakistanis when they take off from their own air bases. So this potency coupled with the kind of price which you are going to get it for, if you make all these things and the deficiencies. See, Indian Air Force, if you really ask me, we are almost scared that we are getting into a phase where we have only upgraded aircraft. Only upgraded. We are talking about upgrades, though we, General said, there are 2-track thing going on, but the only one track is working, the other track is not working. So the other track has to work in a big hurry for us to get to the 42 squadron strength.
Okay.
So if you take that into account, these 21 aircraft become absolutely critical, and they must come in a big hurry because they can really come in a big hurry.
Okay. So basically both aspects, both that twin thing which General Saxena was pointing out, the twin strategy, will have to work in tandem. Let me bring in AVM Nanodkar here again. AVM Nanodkar, from the end user's perspective, when we talk about actually the force which has to go ahead and use these fighter aircrafts. And MiG-29 is not a new aircraft for the Indian Air Force. There are already 69 of them. There are 3 squadrons, and it is the mainstay in terms of second line of defense. So how do you see MiG-29 from the end user's perspective? Now we're trying to get 21 more. That's at least 1 squadron.
Yeah, see, first of all, like everybody has covered earlier, the airframe, the aircraft is airframe engine. You have your avionics, air-to-air capability, EW capability, and the weapons.
Weapons as well.
And till now, whatever MiG-29s we were operating, they were used for air defense duties only. Now, with the upgrade comes in its complete capability of air-to-ground as well as air-to-air together.
So now it has been transformed into a multi-role fighter
multi-role fighter aircraft. So, from its generation, it has been made more potent. So to say, when AVM Srivastava spoke of 4th generation plus, I think there, I would differ a little bit because it remains a 4th generation aircraft with a better capability. Okay. So I won't give it that plus generation as such. But yes, what he meant probably is your avionics capability has been upgraded, which gives it a different look altogether in terms of what the pilot can achieve sitting in the same cockpit.
Okay.
So from that point of view, if you see, it's a huge capability jump that you're getting in a shortest possible time because the aircraft are already mouthballed and lying there. So all they have to do is quickly get them into the not exactly the production line, but the upgrade line into the factory and quickly deliver them to you. They will not take the same time as the new production aircraft. So that is one very important aspect of it. Secondly, do you have a choice? So I'm sure that Air Force, when they thought about their operational capability as such, they must have scanned the entire gamut, entire spectrum, and come to a conclusion that this is the best bet that you have available to you. Because I'm sure that there are countries who have mouthballed Jaguars and kept them aside. Will you like to buy Jaguars today and upgrade them because you have Jaguar fleet of 6 squadron? Answer from my side, because I am a Jaguar pilot, I would definitely say no. But yes, MiG-29, 21 of them, a small package gives you a reasonable capability. And what you have to remember is, there is a already existing platform that you have. So operability becomes a very essential issue that must have been gone into forefront. Secondly, the weapons that are coming along, you have already the weapons on Bison, some of it, which once Bison phase out, those weapons can be utilized on these platforms. Additionally, they will bargain for better quality weapons, better performance weapons along with these platforms, which you can utilize with the platform you already have. So it gives a tremendous flexibility, operational flexibility to the Air Force by just buying this small number and a sort of a stopgap sort of arrangement in absence of anything new coming. Because if you see LCA, the production is way behind. We are talking about now these 40 LCAs, coming to the Air Force in next 2 to 3 years time, and not before that. And thereafter, we are somewhere near the next mark of LCA, as and when it comes. So your air defense capability, which is dwindling very rapidly, is being augmented by this. By this particular deal, and quite a lot of pluses in terms of operational feasibility
because
as well.
In peacetime, you have to cover the entire border with your air defense aircraft. And remember, you have to have that bare minimum numbers.
So number is very crucial here.
Very, very crucial, and that criticality has been understood both by Indian Air Force as well as by MOD.
General Saxena, I'll come to you quickly on a different aspect as well, and though it is very much related in terms of the India-Russia defense collaboration here, because MiG-29 is a Russian product, and this is not the first Russian product which we are buying. In fact, if you look at the entire fleet in terms of all the armed forces, specifically the Air Force as well, we do have a lot of Russian platforms. And in the recent past also, there have been several deals. So in that context, how do you see this smaller deal though, but a significant one?
Sir, this deal is not only in consonance with our special relation between India and Russia. You look at our inventory, isn't it? MiG-21, MiG-29, MiG-27, Su-30 MK. You look at the quantum. But sir, what is more important than this relationship is to bring out, I was talking about the two-track approach. Thus, this functionality of this second track needs to be highlighted to put a balanced picture to the audience.
Okay.
What happened? I'm talking about MiG-29, everybody is talking, celebrating its capability. Let me not celebrate the capability, let me put a grim picture of what is not happening in the procurement side, which should have been happening.
Okay.
We are not talking about 26, 27 and so on and so forth. What is happening to Tejas? Now, Tejas Mark 1 orders are 40 have been given, and Mark 1A 83 and thereafter Mark 2, 201, 324 aircraft. In what time horizon you are looking at these aircraft to actually come through? It's one. At the same time, how much time the MMRCA, medium multi-role combat aircraft deal, 126, everybody knows this number. 36 came about. What about 90? 110 RFP, RFP for 110 single engine fighter jets is out, but where it is going to come? Not only there are open source report of one squadron worth 18 kits of Su-30 Mark 1 has been asked from Russia. Again, special relationship between Russia. They are being provided for one squadron worth of the Su-30 aircraft, 36 of Rafale, only 40 of Tejas Mark 1 in the time frame 2022-23. 21 MiG-29 here are not only essential, they are compulsorily required to at least beef up something.
And maintain those numbers.
And also, the second channel, the procurement channel, the DICE functional channel needs to get up. When are we going to see the balance of 90 of the MRCA? When are we going to see the upgrade, the Tejas coming up? 324 are on order. When are they going to come? When are we going to get our 110 RFP for single engine aircraft fighter jet being issued?
Okay.
That is important, sir.
So these are very crucial questions which General Saxena is asking AVM Srivastava. And before we bring this discussion to an end, obviously viewers would want to know as to, because that part of this entire twin approach in terms of ensuring that the numbers are shored up is really important.
See, if you really look at it, the debate is centered around one aspect, that because of the depleting squadron strength, Air Force is constrained to go in for upgrades. I don't think this is one of the best methods to really build up our fighter aircraft capability.
But in the given situation,
this is the best. And the given situation, 21 are the best, not only because they happen to be bought at the price which is acceptable and very acceptable. Also, they get absorbed in the system, maintenance system and the other infrastructural system are readily available in the Indian Air Force to take on and absorb the technology, which goes in making from the induction to maturity. We have the pilots, we have the engineers, we have the infrastructure, so it will get absorbed in the system, be available at the shortest possible time. So that makes it a good deal. But the patchwork in terms of what we are calling track 1 or track 2 of procurement has to be addressed in a very big haste. But I'll come to one point which I think we forgot to mention about. This aircraft, when I was talking about the generation 4 plus, it has also got one capability which is air-to-air refueling. And when you go into air-to-air refueling capability, you actually can sustain this aircraft in the air, which is being talked about 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
That's a long time for a cap sortie. And also it has got a new radar. What do they say? Pheasatron ME radar. This radar is going to give our visibility or eyes to the aircraft, which is way beyond the 4th generation. And we can launch the BVR missiles.
Okay.
Also, we say, with all that combined, if you see, it has gone ahead of the generation 4 capability.
Okay.
That's how we said, okay, we can't call it, unless they always say you can't change the generation just by
So there is an add-on here.
There's an add-on here.
Okay.
And that works well.
Challenge is also important, sir. It's challenge. This is a challenge of
Definitely, General Saxena and AVM Srivastava and AVM Nanodkar, thank you so much for being here with us. So there it is, the detailed analysis of the much agile, capable, the multi-role fighter aircraft MiG-29. But as our panelists are pointing out, a lot needs to be done in terms of shoring up the combat capability of the Indian Air Force. We'll come back again next week with a different topic and different set of guests. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.